how you doing? I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about saxophone palm key risers, okay? Palm key risers are what we use to heighten the keys that we use our palms to play on the saxophone. So if you're a beginning saxophone player, these are the palm keys right here, right? And we use them with our left hand. We kind of use this part of our palm to control these keys, and these really control the higher parts of the saxophone. So they've always been a problematic part of the horn for some players because they can be difficult to get to, especially when you talk about facility and being able to truly play in the high ranges of the saxophone. It takes some technique to kind of work around the palm keys, and it's always been that way, right? So guys have always had little tricks that they use to kind of make the palm keys more ergonomic, I guess we could say, right? So I guess the most old school way that guys used to do this was to use cork. What guys used to do was they used to take these palm keys and they cut a flat one like this, and they would just layer pieces of cork on top of it, glue them on top of it, right? And then they would shave it down all around, and that's how they would heighten the palm keys. The problematic part about doing it that way, one, is that they would use like really strong abrasive glue to do this, right? So the finish of the saxophone would always be affected. If for some reason you ever had to pull these off, they would like damage the horn in a way, you know? The other part of it is it took a certain kind of technique to do this, right? To shave them properly and do everything. Some guys would actually even take these to their repairmen, you know, and have them apply cork to their palm keys. So that's kind of like the old school way the guys did it. Since then, there have been products created. Like, for instance, one real popular one is this thing right here, right? This is a store-bought saxophone palm key riser, right? You can get these in packs of like, you know, 4 or 3 or something like that. And they cost like a couple bucks. They're very cheap. The bad part about these is, one, they are not customizable, right? So like it's kind of like a one-size-fits-all thing. And depending on how your hand is, it may or may not work for you. The other bad thing about them is they always fall off. Like you can see mine right here. See that little slit there? That's from just over time, it just being on the palm key and just slipping off and slipping off. And so that happens all the time. It kind of sucks. They also have some higher end palm key risers. Like I think Oleg is a saxophone company that makes some palm key risers that are like metal, and they, they kind of are more stable because they kind of have a little screw in them, and you screw them onto the palm key or whatever, and they stay there. And they're better. But the bad thing about those is, once again, they're not really customizable, right? It's kind of like a crapshoot, you know, essentially. And kind of what I've learned along the way is this product called Sugru. It comes in packs of like these are 8 packs, but you can get even more. Comes in all kind of colors, right? Blues, reds, greens, oranges, whatever you want. I buy them usually off Amazon. You can buy them like at Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's. All these places carry it too. And it's probably gonna cost you about 10 bucks, I think, for a pack like this. Maybe 10 or 12 bucks. Totally worth the investment. By the way, there's this whole community of people that use this stuff, Sugru, to fix all kind of stuff. Cell phones, pots, pans, wires, cables, PS2 controllers. Like, there's this whole little community. It's kind of cool. If you go on the website, it kind of tells you all these really cool uses that people have found for it, and then they post how they use it. Yeah, now we bring it over to the saxophone world. Here's my saxophone, and these Sugru palm key risers, I actually put these ones on here about 2 years ago, right? And they've lasted so well over nights and nights and nights of playing on them. And this one actually just popped off on a gig the other day. And so I thought, you know what, it's a good time to kind of show what I do. Here's the finish of my saxophone. Here's where Sugru used to be, right? And as you can see, it's done nothing to my saxophone whatsoever. So I'm going to be replacing these Sugru palm key risers, and I'm going to show you how I do it. It's great because it's a real cheap and inexpensive way to make this happen. I will say that the one downfall to Sugru and using it is that it takes like 48 hours to dry once you put it on your saxophone. If you're like me, you're probably a musician and can't really be away from your horn for 48 hours because you got gigs, or you got to, get in the shed and practice, or whatever the reasoning behind it is. So I have a little trick that I use that helps me get this cured in about 24 to 30 hours, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that later on in the videos. Stay tuned. I wanted to take this last one off because I wanted to show you. The first one I had, it popped off naturally, right? The second one I just ended up taking off right there. And I just want to show you how it is to take these things off because they're super easy. So let me show you. Hold on, let me move my camera down just a little bit. Okay? So I just got a utility knife here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I can actually feel this. I'm gonna just make a slit, being very careful not to actually rub that knife against my actual metal underneath the rubber. Okay, so that's it. You can see I just made a slit. All right, and there it goes. You can see the key starting to come off, and there you have it. Just peels right off. Okay, there it is. There's still some wrapped around the back. It will leave, like there is this gnarly green looking gunk there that's on my saxophone, as you can see, and that's just, I don't know what it is. It's like some stuff from under there, but you can see if I just rub my finger across it, I mean, it kind of comes right off. It's just some kind of stuff that the Sugru leaves. But again, this sure beats the heck out of like something like cork, where literally there would be like a layer of glue, and you have to either sand that down or like, pull that off, and you couldn't do it without the lacquer coming off. So I've taken all these risers off, and there's the finish of it. I can definitely see why I use risers. They've been on so long, I'm kind of used to it now. Like having these risers has helped me a lot to make the motion from having to go from here all the way down to here and move my wrist in this fashion to really, now it's just this movement. When the palm keys are there and they're really across my palm, I'm playing here and I'm just moving them like this. That's just me. Everybody's different. So E, right? Like this. I know when I used to not have risers, when I did E and I was using palm keys, I had to do this kind of motion to get E. You see what I'm saying? F sharp, F R F sharp. With these other with these right hand keys. This is the kind of motion that you end up doing when you're playing the palm keys and stuff like that. Look at that. Look how far that takes you away from this, right? Really, we never want to take our fingers off the pearls. So with the palm key risers, what I've noticed is that I was able to make a lot more subtle movements and be able to still, get to ease and stuff like that. Even if I am doing that motion, even that is a lot better than, this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you've learned how to control those things yourself. And I would encourage you to do so. But palm key risers are a thing that, to me, they help a lot in that aspect. And they've, especially like, depending on some horns and the makes of them, think about some of the real vintage horns that are like very petite. You know what I mean? Like the key work and the way this laid out is different. Even sometimes the palm key placement is like way in a different kind of place on the horn. So yeah, these are all different reasons to use palm key risers if that's something that you're into. The first thing you want to do is when dealing with this Sugru is you're going to want to wash your hands. You don't want chemicals and all the oils in your skin mixing in with the Sugru. Also, clean your palm keys. Take a towel or a cleaning cloth or whatever and just wipe them down just to kind of get all the oil and dirt or anything that might be on your palm keys off there, okay? All right, so once you got your Sugru, this is how it's gonna look once you open the package. It's just like a little glob of putty there. So you're gonna take that out. And by the way, this stuff is kind of messy, like to mess with. So I wouldn't really suggest using gloves or anything like that, but just know it's gonna kind of get on your fingers a little bit, and you can wash it off, but it's kind of gross to deal with. So yeah, you get a ball of it like that, and I just want you to just roll it into a ball like this. Just take it, roll it into a ball. Okay, that's my nice ball of it. You can see it's all my fingers there. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my palm D. Let me move my camera down so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Maybe I should move it like this. Okay. This is the closest one to you. So let's start with this key here. Okay. So all you're going to do when you get your sugru is you're going to take it and you're going to press it against your palm like that. Okay. And this is probably the most important thing I can tell you about doing this is that you want to make sure you wrap it all the way around the key. It needs to go into around this back part of the key. Okay. I wouldn't put a lot behind the key, but it definitely needs to touch and intersect. And this is going to be how it kind of seals itself. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've completely like kind of wrapped it around the back so that right now it's just kind of completely back there. Now, I'm going to take this crude thing right here. I'm going to start shaping it. Just with my finger. Another thing I recommend about this sugru is buy it when you're going to use it. Don't store it too long. And if you do, I've heard storing it in the refrigerator works good. But I wouldn't hold on to it long because it does expire. Okay? It does expire. So definitely use it before it gets too old. Okay, so what I'm trying to do with mine is I want it to have a nice shape, a nice round shape. I want it to be kind of full at the top, and then thinner here in these areas on the side rails of the key. That's not really that important to me. And the whole time, I haven't done it once yet, but the whole time, you need to be putting your palm on it to see where it lays, like key-wise. Like, you know, this is what we're doing this for. So I want to, you know, don't squish it too hard, obviously, but put your hands there and see like, okay, look, man, as soon as I'm touching my G, A, and B key, my palm is like right here on the key. I mean, it's like right there against my hand, right? So for me, this is good. That shape is pretty nice and it works good. So this is the side of it, as you can see. I've just kind of crudely shaped it. Don't have to be pretty. But once it hardens, it's hardened like really good. So get it exactly how you want it. Take your time, make it right. Yeah, that feels really good for me. Okay. Yeah. That feels really good for me. Okay, so that's one done. So I'm just going to repeat the process with all other keys. All right? Okay. So I've just finished doing all my keys. Is it the most beautiful work of art? No. Does it fit my hands like exactly how I wanted to? Yes. And that's the beauty of this, is that throughout this process, I've sat there and like put my hands on my keys, and I know that they fit like a glove. And so that's the beautiful part about using this stuff. All of them, like I said, you know, you got to wrap them around the back. Make sure you do that. That's an important part. They're strong, but they won't hold if you don't wrap them around the back. You know what I mean? And make sure that they seal that way. Yeah, like as you can see, I got some little inconsistencies there, like little parts like right. Oh, I just did another one. Kind of squishy still. But yeah, I mean, it's got little nicks in it here and there, like little spots. You can just kind of smooth it out with your finger. Doesn't matter. The main part is that, like I said, it fits exactly where I need it to. So now that I have that done, I'm going to sit this here, and I'll show you what I do as a little trick that I was talking about to make it dry fast, okay? Okay, so I told you guys I had a little trick to help you cure this Sugru faster and make it work for you, okay? So check it out. I'm going to show you what I do. All right, so two things you're gonna need. One is I have this fan here. This is my Lasco fan, something that you need if you gig in Florida. I have it pointed at my saxophone right there towards the palm keys. Step two, I have this desk light that I use, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm just making sure that that desk light, actually I'm gonna get a little closer, tilt it towards my keys. So I'm making sure to keep it at a distance where I know that it's not like too hot on my saxophone. That's not what we want. But I do want to let that kind of be on there to kind of cure these keys faster, as well as letting this fan blow on it. And keep checking, you know. What I'll probably do is I'll come in here every, 6 hours or 8 hours or something and check on it until it's dry. I know from doing this in the past that it's going to take probably anywhere from 24 to 30 hours for this to cure. So by the time I come back tomorrow evening, I'll be able to take it and I'll be good. All right? All right, people. So there you have it. Thank you for checking out this video. If you like it, check out my channel, subscribe. If you have any comments or questions about anything about this process, hit me up. I'll be happy to let you know what I know. Let me know about what you guys are using for palm key risers. Has anybody else tried this technique? Yeah, let me know. Share it. And so we can all figure this thing out. All right? Keep swinging.